questions about that? Okay. The other system, the sensory system we don't learn about in preschool is the vestibular system, and that system sense of balance. So we're going to do another little demo here. Whenever you put down your stuff. I'm keeping you alert by making you move. Okay. So, give yourselves a little space here. And I want everyone to balance on one foot. Okay. Super awesome. Okay, I want everyone to balance on their other foot. A little shakier. Okay. Go back to your first foot. And I want you to close your eyes and balance on one foot. Okay. We better stop that now. Okay, I want you to close your eyes and balance on your other foot. Yeah, you better stop now. Okay, good. Okay, you can have a seat. So, which was the easiest? Eyes open. First foot or second foot? First foot. Eyes open. Oh, for you it's the second foot, first foot. So usually people will choose to balance on their dominant foot. And because you were righty, it doesn't mean that you're right-footed, but most of the time you are. What was the hardest one? Eyes closed. First foot or second foot? Second foot, right? So that was your non-dominant leg, no eyes. Why was it harder to balance with your eyes closed?
You can fixate on something to help you maintain balance.
Right. So, but what did you use to maintain the balance that you had?
With the eyes closed?
Yeah, what did
Your
you
core.
use?
Your core.
How did you know how to tighten that core? Something had to give you information about balance and what's up and what's down.
Mean space. How I am in space.
How you are in space. How you are in space is from the inner ears. You know where you are in space because you have cells in your inner ears that tell you how to balance. And that even when you don't have a visual cue, you have a sense of balance. And you can stimulate your vestibular system lots of ways. So our vestibular system tells us how to coordinate the two sides of our body, right? So when you're standing on one foot, it's not just, let's say, my right foot that's balancing. I have to counterbalance with my left foot to stay up. So the vestibular sense enables us to use our two sides. It enables us to cross the midline of the body. So for example, if I'm writing something, if I need to write from left to right, I need to cross my midline to write cross from left to right. Kids who don't have a good vestibular sense, they do this. Turn their chair like this, and they write across the page so that they don't have to cross the midline of their body because they don't have that sense of the midline. Another thing the vestibular system does is gives us speed, acceleration, stopping and starting. So that if you're in the train, like the Long Island Railroad, not the New York City subway system, and it's a long ride, and everybody's kind of falling asleep, okay? Do you know, when you're in the midst of falling asleep or half asleep, do you know if the train has started, or do you know if the train is going or stopping? Do you ever miss your stop? How frequently do people miss their stops? All the time or rarely? Rarely. Okay, can you tell when the train is speeding up?
Yeah.
Can you tell when the train is slowing down? You have a sense. Most people open their eyes when they get to a stop on the railroad. So even if you're not attentive and not paying attention, there's something very, very fundamental in your system, which is your inner ears, that give you that information about movement, speed, acceleration. It's the same system that allows you to surface dive or dive. When you surface dive or dive, you're going down. How do you know where up is? Awesome. See, that's logic. It's not knowing from your body. But think of it. The way you know where up is that your inner ear gives, your vestibular system tells you where up is, where down is, and that vestibular system has to be finely tuned to enable you to know where up is. Somebody who has inner ear damage cannot surface dive, cannot dive, cannot scuba dive, because they don't know where up is. And flying is a problem as well, because they don't have that vestibular sense anymore. So it's the sense that we have about movement. Another thing, the vestibular system, which is a very, very important hidden system, is that it gives us our background postural movements and extensions. So that when you're, for example, standing, if you don't order tickets online, and you're old-fashioned standing at the ticket booth, you stand there, and there's a long line. Nobody's standing like this, except my nephew, the Marine. Everybody else is standing like this. And they're standing like this. Just stand like this. Excuse me, can you watch my place while I stand over here for a minute? Right? So, these side-to-side movements, I mean, you know how to stand straight, you know where up is. What is this shifting? What is this business? This is called background postural movements. These movements enable us, it's all movements to the right and the left of the midline to enable us to stay upright. So it's very obvious when you're standing on line what this looks like. What's not so obvious is that when you're sitting on a chair, like I'll take a chair here for example, when you're sitting on a chair, it may not be obvious, but in order for you to stay upright, you are doing the same thing. If I put electrodes on your butt, and this has been done experimentally, you see alternate firing of the neurons. And so you have to have this shift around the midline to stay upright. But what about our kids who don't have a finely tuned vestibular system? Those kids are either going to do this and this, because they don't know when they're going to fall out. They don't feel unless they're going to fall, or they don't actively attempt to compensate for it, so eventually they go like this. And they're on the floor. And we've evaluated kids who are in the middle of actively involved in an activity. All of a sudden they find themselves on the floor and they're shocked. Shocked. Or they're the kids who tip their chair back. The ones who are really good at this, they never fall. But then, because they're just looking for the edge. If they find the edge between falling and not falling, they feel okay and grounded. But then there are kids who don't have that finely tuned edge, and they go backwards and they collapse.